Joining us now from Charleston, West Virginia, is Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, who serves on the Senate Intelligence Committee. Senator, I want to ask you about the committee. Senator Burr, who is the chairman of the Intelligence Committee, said, quote, "We don't have anything to do with political campaigns," when asked if the committee was going to investigate this idea of Russians trying to affect the election. But then that opinion was changed, and the Intelligence Committee is now going to look into that issue and whether there were any connections with the Russians and the Trump campaign. So what happened between when he said that and now the decision to actually hold hearings?
Well, Senator Warner is our ranking member on the committee. I'm brand new on the committee, and I'm very proud to be on this committee, and I'm learning an awful lot. But I think that Richard Burr, Senator Burr, my dear friend, saw the interest that we all have and basically seen the interest of the American people, that we want to find out the intent of the Russians, to what extent the Russians are involved, and American people need to know. Our colleagues need to know. We believe, and I believe now, that the committee that we have, the Intelligence Committee, is the best committee to do it in. And we can do, John, quite a bit of open meetings there in that committee also, once we get to the classified status, and then we have to go into our closed meetings. So we can do better, I think, and quicker to get people informed. The committee is professionally staffed. They know what they're doing, and I have an awful lot of faith and confidence in them, and we're going to get to the bottom of this very quickly. And I'm glad they changed the direction. I'm happy for the statement to both Senator Burr and Senator Warner have made now. We're working together, and that's a great committee with people who really care and they want to take politics out. It's about the security of our nation, not the politics of our nation.
There is a spectrum of responses to the Russian actions. On the one hand, some intelligence officials say this was an unprecedented effort to try to influence the U.S. election. On the other hand, incoming Chief of Staff Reince Priebus in the Trump team says, this is a pattern. The Russians have been doing this for 50 years. So just, which seems to suggest this is just not a new thing. Where do you put yourself on that spectrum?
Well, first of all, both statements are correct, John. The Soviets back in the 60s and 70s have been involved. We know they've been involved, and they've been trying to be involved in many ways, whether it be advertising or support and trying to change those who they thought would be harmful to the Kremlin. And now with Russia taking it to an unprecedented level, we're seeing, and everything has been reported in an unclassified way, that they have been involved more direct than any time in the past. So it's very troubling to find out at what level and to the extent they've gone to and where that's come from. That's what we're going to find out. That's what the American people want to know, and it's what my colleagues should know. So we know basically their true intent, and we cannot let them be involved in basically altering our political process.
Let me ask you about the incoming Trump administration. You've met with the president-elect. You've met also with Mike Pence. What is your message to Democrats who are nervous about the incoming administration?
Well, I mean, I would approach this as I would anything else. I'm very appreciative they've reached out to me, knowing that I'm a centrist, a moderate, dead in the center, if you will, where I think most Americans are. That means we have to work together. They're willing to cross over in the aisle. They're willing to cross over and meet me halfway. I'm definitely going to cross over and try to meet with them to find a pathway forward. That'll be my job. With them, I would tell all my colleagues, let's just try to do the work of the people of this great country. Let's make sure we know we're Americans first. The process of elections, the politics is behind us, or it should be. The election's over. Donald Trump has been elected. He is our incoming president. We should all want, no matter who our president is, to be the best they can be, to be successful, because if they do well, our country does extremely well. My state of West Virginia does extremely well. So I'm going to work and try to, in the most productive manner, to make sure we're moving in the right direction. And I will always do that.
Senator, what do you think of Congressman John Lewis's decision to not attend the inauguration and some other of his colleagues making that same decision?
John, I've got the utmost respect for Congressman Lewis. He's an icon, if you will, and we all have the most respect for him. I just think that was uncalled for. I just wish that rhetoric would tone down from both back and forth. The bottom line is, if we're concerned about the Russians, and we know the Russians want to be involved, Putin wants to be involved in altering our process, then he will succeed if he sees this bickering going back and forth. That's what we have to stop. We're bigger than this, and we're going to show them they're not going to change and not going to alter how we work and function as Congress, as a government, and the United States of America. We're not going to let that happen. So for this type of rhetoric, it's non-productive. And I would like, if that would tone down a little bit, we'd be much better off and move on.
All right, Senator Manchin, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for being with us, and we'll be back in just a moment with former House Speaker Newt Gingrich, an advisor to the Trump transition.